First of all, just a little bit about your background, maybe just for people that don't know. Can you say about where you come from in Ireland and maybe your connections with the country?
Yeah, I'm born and bred in Tipperary, so a little village called Ballina, which is right next to Killaloe, on the bottom of Lough Derg. The bridge separates Ballina and Killaloe, so Tipperary, I'm born on Tipperary side. Clare is the far side, so big rivalries. So yeah, grew up there till I was sort of 16. I moved to England when I was 16 to the British. I came to the British Racing School, and from there I was very lucky that Major Griffiths, who was running the racing school at the time, he sent me to Captain Tim Foster's, and you know that from then on I was very lucky with the people I've met. You know, I could have gone from the racing school, I could have gone anywhere, but I was very fortunate that I went to Captain Foster's. So two of my best friends from that now are from those days, and still got some good friends who I saw at Newbury there last week who are still living local to sort of Wantage in that way. So it was a great ground, and I was there for 3.5 years. Went to the captain one day and said, "Look, I'd like to be a jockey." And he said, "You're not good enough to be a jockey." But he said, "I think you'll make a good head lad assistant trainer one day." So he was right on both counts. I wasn't good enough to be a jockey, and I've done okay as a head lad and assistant trainer. So yeah, so I then went to a private yard in up near Wrexham. Had a sort of 6 or 8 months there. Then a little stint at Donald McCain's while I was waiting to start at Nigel Twist and Davis's in 1992, I think it was.
Yeah, and you still got a connection as well with Ireland, much like getting over their family as well.
Yeah, I know, still have very much so. Yeah, my mum's still there. I got 2 brothers and a sister still there. 2 brothers over here, and obviously my daughter Fern's at Willie Mullins at the minute, so she's enjoying that. We went back to see her in January, and you know, when we got the time, Sally and I do like to go back to a point on a Saturday or Sunday, mainly on a Sunday if we can get there. So that's what we like to do. So I try to get home as much as I can.
Yeah, and do you spot many that you want to kind of keep an eye on as well in the point-to-points that maybe want to bring over?
Yeah, no, again, we were very lucky. Sally's got a good contact there. Neil O'Donnell, I got a good friend from Captain Foster actually up in the north, Richard Curran, and both of them will always send us horses weekends, and there's a few other people who send us horses and things, but yeah, Neil will be our main point of contact, and Richard up the north, yeah.
And obviously, yeah, the Irish national hunt game has been taken over, obviously, by Willie Gordon. I mean, how have you seen it evolve, and how do you think they've actually changed the game over there?
I just think it's all down to their buying policy. You know, Willie doesn't buy very many he buys plenty of the sales, but like he's mainly buying them privately in France and in Ireland, and he's just so well connected. And Gordon's the same. Gordon goes to the sales and he buys the top lot. You know, I think Gordon's mantra is, you know, win at the sales, you win on the track. So, doesn't always work for us, but it's I think that's where they are. You know, the dominance. But you know, I've got a blue in the face. I'm trying to tell people you can't compare English racing and Irish racing. This is where we are, and you know, it's a totally different model. It's a way of life in Ireland. You know, it's ingrained from a very young age. You know, growing up around us, Ireland's a lot more rural. It's, you know, racing is run for racing in Ireland, whereas over here we got Arena, we got the Jockey Club, we got the Independents, and they're all trying to run a business. You know, it's not easy for them either. So yeah, you just can't compare English and Irish racing.
No, and obviously we're only a week away now from Cheltenham, the big event. I mean, how does it feel maybe around the yard? Is it a bit more exciting now, just a week away?
Yeah, it is. Look, exciting. Yeah, you get nervous this week because you know, like I said to you earlier, you don't want to step on a stone or getting a cough, or you know, it's just it's this last few days, and you know, we've done all our work now. The horses have been away, so we've done what we can do. You know, so we'll have one more schooling session. Be a gallop on Friday, but won't be major. And you're just trying to get there now in the best shape you can. So I'm very happy with both horses really. And Tiori for the Boodle. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, and I mean, just a comment as well about how the season's gone so far. Been pretty good.
Yeah, we've had a good season. That's like down numbers because we were in partnership with Graham McPherson last year, and Graham and Dave Kilheen. Then you know, we came away from there. They set up themselves. So, and we're sort of caught in the back foot a little bit because we didn't get our barn up in time. But look, we are where we are. We've had a Grade 1 winner this year. We've had 88 winners. I'm hoping we'll get to the 100. but nothing's definite in this game, and hoping to get over the million. And if we do both of those things and with a grade 1, it'll be a very good season, yeah.
Yeah, so let's move on then to Cheltenham. Obviously, start off with Dysart Enos. Maybe just going back to the touch on point to point as well. Obviously, what caught your eye with her, kind of back in, cast your mind back?
Yeah, we just loved the way that she travelled through the point to point, and then we went and saw her at Aintree at the sales. And Sally had picked her out, and Ben Goodman, who's part of the Good Stock Syndicate. So, so the two of them sort of liked her on form, pedigree. And I loved her when I saw her. She moved beautifully. She went very well. Look, buying her on the day, we paid plenty of money for her. She wasn't a bargain basement. She was 90 odd grand or something like that, 95,000. So, but loved everything about her. She vetted well, and but bringing her home, I would have never thought she'd have taken us to the places that she's taken us.
Yeah, and how is she around the yard as well? We saw her already, a little bit temperamental maybe?
I wouldn't call her temperamental. She is who she is. Like I've always said, you dance to her tune, Tom Broughton gets on very well with her, and Scott looks after her, and Sophie there. You just have to know her. She's not temperamental, she just doesn't like fuss. She doesn't like me standing next to her to get a picture. She just doesn't like any of that. She doesn't like standing next to Crambo for a picture. So it's not temperamental. She's independent, and she wants to do her own thing, and she just wants to be left alone. So but she's very, very good, on the track, but she's good at home. She's very, she's straightforward that way. You have to sort of, Tom's very important. You have to know her, and she's not feeling it, then Tom knows what to do with her.
Yeah, and which of her performances maybe have kind of stood out for you as like the most impressive?
I think Aintree, Aintree and Cheltenham, Cheltenham in December, but Aintree, she won her bump around Ludlow, beat the Geldings, and she did it very well. Came from the back, which is hard to do at Ludlow with 12 or 14 runners, and did it quite well. Conor Grace gave her a lovely ride, and then we went to Market Raisin, and I genuinely couldn't see us beating Queen's Gamble. I love the mare. I love Oliver Sherwood. I just thought, he had her in a great place. She'd won at Cheltenham. I thought she was and then we won there, and I was obviously absolutely delighted, and came away from there thinking great. But I know if I trained Queen's Gamble, I would have just said that she didn't act on that track. So I was delighted when Queen's Gamble did go to Cheltenham, and we were always going to go to Aintree from there, because I sort of half learnt my lesson from the year before, poetic music. Yeah, we ran her at Cheltenham, and possibly in hindsight should have gone to Aintree. So after Market Raisin, it was always onto Aintree, and she blew me away at Aintree, and the speed that she had and the way she travelled through the race. Both her other runs, she'd come off the pace and sort of picked up the pieces or whatever, but she was in the van the whole way around. Paddy had her wherever he wanted. She travelled beautifully, and then once it opened up in front of him, he was able to press the button, and away she went. So hopefully she can do that at Cheltenham next week.
Something that stood out for me as well is just how well she goes over the hurdles. So, I mean, is that something that you've maybe specifically worked on, or is it just kind of natural ability?
No, very much natural ability. She'd done all her schooling before she ever got to us, so we inherited a very good jumper. And yeah, she's very slick and quick, and she, I think she's got a rating of 131, 132, but that's simply because, we've never dipped her. That's the long and the short of it. The handicapper can't get a mark on her. And so, I think Gordon Thursday saying ran to a rating of 150 the other day or something like that. So, we've got £20 to find really, but, well, £15 because we're getting a £5 allowance. Or we're getting a £5, they've got a £5 penalty. But yeah, I think, if it starts drying out and one thing and another, I think we got a lot in our favour, and we're really looking forward to going to Cheltenham with her.
Yeah, so you think the ground will suit, obviously, given the conditions at the moment?
Yeah, I do. I think she'll go on any ground. I think she's very versatile, and we're just hoping that it all comes up as we want it.
And I think maybe just touch on her, like you say, like her independence. I mean, how do you think she'll cope with the buzz of Cheltenham? Obviously, the amount of people that are going to be there.
Well, that was one of the big things about going there in December. Really, after plan at the beginning of the season was to win her novice hurdle, which she did at Hunting, and then was to go to Newbury for the mare's race. So, but then we realised that, look, if we can go to Cheltenham without a £5 penalty, then that's what we should be doing. So the owners were very good because none of them could get to Cheltenham, and we just felt like Neil found a lovely race at Cheltenham for her, and we felt that going to Cheltenham would give her a little bit of a sighter. She, that's the sort of place that could light her up if she hadn't been there before. But at least she's been there before, and if she gets lit up now, well, at least we've given her our best shot. She's been there, she's had a walk around the paddock, she's seen the stand from the race course, so she's walked down the walkway. It's all something that she'll remember, I know when she ran in December it was a lot quieter day than it will be next Thursday, but at the same time, at least she's been there and she's done it.
Yeah, and she came out of her last race well as well.
Yeah, look, she went through the motions, she did what she had to do, and she did it nicely, and we were very pleased with her.
Yeah, you touched on Paddy as well. So I mean, how much are you using his insight when it comes to either planning the scheduling or just how to treat her in general?
Yeah, very much so. Paddy's important to her because he keeps her calm, he knows her, and I think he is very important to her. And looking forward to it. I'd love to just give Paddy another festival winner. That would he's done a lot for us, getting us going, and we had our first 100. He really put his body on the line. Really, he was unbelievable. He would take falls and get back up. And I know in another season, if we were on 55 winners, there's some of those falls he had, and he wouldn't have come back out. He'd have taken the rest of the day off, but he didn't. I remember one day at Southall, took a very, very heavy fall at the last, and came back out and rode a winner. An hour later, and I didn't expect to see him get up. To be fair, So, he's we'd love to get him another winner, and that would be a real bonus, yeah.
And obviously for punters, I mean, Cheltenham is so big, but I mean, are you doing anything differently in the build up to Cheltenham?
No, it's all the same routine. That's what it's all about for us. It's routine, and she's been away for a gallop, and that's what we would do anyway. And so yeah, it's pretty. What you saw her do this morning is pretty standard,
Yeah, perfect. And also, yeah, touching on what you maybe talk with Paddy about, maybe like pre-race tactics. I mean, are you kind of discussing that kind of thing as well?
No, like I said to you earlier, Captain Foster told me I wouldn't be a jockey, so I tend to leave the driving to the drivers. Noel Feely told me once actually. If you're worried about the pilot on the plane, don't get on the plane. So just leave it to them, So Paddy will know what to do. He's been there, got the experience, and so he wants to win as much as I do. So fingers crossed.
And do you have any long-term ambitions for her as well? I mean, is this always going to be the target?
This was a target from when she won at Aintree, and then we'll see where we go after this. We'll see where we go. She's big, scropy mare, so we'll go over fences next year, possibly. We'll just see. We'll see what the season brings.
Yeah, perfect. All right, let's move on to Crambo then. Maybe one of your biggest wins as a trainer, it'd probably be fair to say. How's he come out of Ascot?
Yeah, look, we're very lucky to win in Grade 1 for Chris Coley's my business partner at Newbury, won the Challow with Poetic Rhythm, and that was a fantastic day. I'll never forget your first Grade 1. But Crambo was special because it's been a few years in between drinks, and I've had so much belief in Crambo, and I've always felt he was a graded horse, and for him to go and be such a warrior in Paisley Park and Dasher Trasher, and that was just phenomenal. That was an unbelievable day, and I couldn't have been prouder of him that day. He really dug in for us, and that's what he always does. He never does things by 15 lengths. He does what he has to do. I remember when we were qualifying for the EBF final last year, I went to Bangor they've jumped the last with a circuit to go, and he's gone around the bend, and Connor's pushing him along. I'm thinking, oh my God, he's not going anywhere. And then he won that race and went on and won the EBF final. So I've always said, Crambo I think trains himself, and he probably didn't want to get too high a handicap mark, so he knew what he had to do to get the sand down, and got the job done. And
you think this is the perfect trip for him as well?
Yeah, look, we saw that at Haydock. We stepped him up to 3 miles, and he hit the line very hard with a lot of weight. And and I think I'm hoping that Cheltenham will bring out a bit of improvement in him. He'll need to improve a little bit, I think, with the Irish horses. Paisley Park will have been trained for this race. He ran into Cleve, ran very well. Dasher Trasher the same. Noble Yates. They're all warriors. They're titans, and they'll take him to places he's never been. So he'll need to dig in, and he'll need to be on his game, which I think he is. Eve said to me the other day, she just hasn't, who rides him out nearly every day, she just hasn't felt him as well. So we're very hopeful.
That's great, and it will be his first time at Cheltenham as well, right? So that'd be a big factor.
It'll be first time, but he's unlike Dysart. He's one that I think he'll just take everything in his stride. I think he'll feed off he'll enjoy the occasion. He'll enjoy the crowd around the paddock and the walk down and stuff. And I think he's one that could actually light up a bit, and hopefully will bring out a little bit of improvement in him.
And you touched on there how he is around the yard as well. Completely different character, I think.
100%. If I had a small child that was going to come and see the horses, I probably wouldn't take him or her to see Dysart, but I'd definitely go and see Crambo. So he's very soft in the stable, and he's that's again where these people, we're so lucky to have people like Tom, Eve, Sophie, and Scott, you know, Eve just loves him, adores him, and that's all he wants. You know, he wants someone to ride him out every day, feed him his carrots, and give him a bit of love. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And how do you expect the stayers to actually be run? Any,
Again, you know, it'll be down to Johnny Burke who rides him. It'll be down to him what he does. He travelled very well around Ascot, so he'll put him where he wants to put him. And you know, again, Johnny, a good winner at the festival there with Love Envoy a couple of years ago. He knows the place. I'm not going to start telling him how to ride, and he'll make a plan and we'll stick to it.
Yeah, fair enough. And just lastly as well, any handicap entries? You said you maybe have one going.
Yeah, the Boodles. Yeah, I think Tiori could run a good race. I do. Yeah, he won first time out for us, and then he had a little bit of a blip up at Musselburgh, but then he beat all the horses. I know he's getting an allowance, but he beat all the horses very well at Subtle. And I think he's one of those horses that will come alive at Cheltenham. And I think the hustle and bustle of the Boodles will really, you know, light him up as well. And I think, so I'm really looking forward to him running.
Well, best of luck for the Cheltenham Festival.
Cheers, thanks very much. Thanks for coming to us.